Well, everyone's got their own little story about this game, so I might as well share mine. But before we get started, like I said before, this is the last day to reach the end of my goal, which is 100 subscribers by the end of May. So I'm gonna try putting at least two more videos up and see if I can meet that goal. I'm like 3 inches away. Three subscribers away. So please help me out by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate that. And also, if you do, it'll make your butt cheeks look a lot more shinier than they already are. And who doesn't like having shiny butt cheeks? All right, so when it comes to Resident Evil 1, actually, I never owned a PlayStation 1. The thing with this game is, my one of my best friends actually loaned me his PS1 along with the game itself. So that was actually pretty cool. Like I said before, I was pretty late to a lot of consoles. I skipped quite a few generations. Like I never got into any of these Sega consoles. I never had, like I said, I never had a PS1, but I've had a PS2, PS3, PS4, and so on. Well, except the PS5. But other than that, I mean, I've mostly on Nintendo's dick because that's just the way I am. But I want to talk about the first time I really pretty much played Resident Evil 1, and then the first time I really owned it. Because there's actually a pretty huge difference between the two. So, like I said, this was back in maybe 2000. Shoot, I want to say maybe 2002, maybe four. I'm honestly not too sure. I can't even remember too much stuff that far back. But I believe I was like 23 or 24 at the time when my best friend loaned me his PlayStation. Because he actually introduced me to a lot of games, whether it be Resident Evil, Gears of War. I mean, he's gotten me into a lot of games. Like I said, back then I was pretty I guess walled off. Like I just didn't really play that many games. Just mostly what I had on my Super Nintendo and N64. But other than that, getting back on topic, yeah. So he let me borrow the game because he had me try it out first, and I was like, damn, this is actually pretty badass. Because I've always heard of Resident Evil, but I was like, oh, I don't know. I guess I would try it out. But when I finally got to try the original first one, I mean, damn, I freaking love that game. If anything, I still love it even to this day. I definitely prefer it over the remake. I fucking hate the remake. Remake's fucking dog shit. But that's just my own little opinion. I know a lot of people praise that game, but I just don't like it. It's gonna sound kind of stupid, but one thing that kind of killed it for me was the death scenes aren't as brutal as the first one. Like that's just me. Apparently, that remake's supposed to be how the original game was that kind of thought of, but I don't know. I prefer the original, man. That's just me though. But yeah, so my friend originally had me try this out. I don't actually remember like what day or month like I tried it out. All I know is he came by, he had me try it out, and then a few weeks later he's like, "Hey, do you want to borrow the PlayStation? I'll let you borrow the game too." I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, man, shit." So I borrowed that. I played it, beat the whole thing. I tried I tried beating the thing on expert difficulty, but I never beat it on that difficulty. I just remember admiring Jill's titties in that white outfit or whatever it was. It was like blue jeans with like a white cut like sleeveless shirt or whatever. It looked nice though. I liked the way it looked. Like damn, nut. And I think even in that one too, you got like a custom Beretta. I think it turned like silver or something, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I remember absolutely loving that game. I know there's something about the PS1 graphics, like when it came to horror games. I don't know what it is, like why. Just for some reason, seeing the way the creatures would move sometimes, whether it be like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, or any other horror game from that era, they always seem to just feel so much creepier. Or even like Parasite Eve, like damn, like also the presentation I think was a lot more better back then. Like when the hunter comes in, or seeing like the rat like fucking evolve or like deform or whatever the hell it is from the mitochondria of Parasite Eve. But like just seeing those creatures like transform into what they're transforming into, with that era of graphics, like man, it blew my fucking mind. I really enjoy it, and even to this day, I still like to go back, look at those scenes on YouTube, and watch them. I don't know, man. Just something about it, like it's very unnerving. Like I guess for the sense that it's just very unrealistic. Like I don't know. I really can't put into words. I'm sorry, but I really appreciate how they looked back then. Like I don't know. I just think it make monsters and creatures look a lot more scarier back then. But yeah, that's the one thing I want to talk about Resident Evil 1. Again, my best friend had me try that out. And actually, now I want to talk about the next part, which is when I actually first got the game. So, have never owned an original copy of Resident Evil 1, not the director's cut either. The very first copy I've gotten of the game that I physically own, and actually still own surprisingly, is the one for the DS. Yeah, Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Why? I don't know, but and I think I got it from a pawn shop, like the pawn shop I used to work for. Like, oh shit. But yeah, I ever had it, and the only reason I wanted it too because it was pretty much complete in box. It was the game itself, the game case, and the manual. So that I was like, oh hell! It even still had, I think it even still had the thing for like the My Nintendo Rewards program or whatever. It still had that thing. It actually worked. I'm like, oh shit. Which is kind of funny because me and some coworkers, or one coworker actually, we would actually steal some of those codes from people that pawned it just to see if we could use the code. And yeah, that would still work. Like we put that shit off right before like my Nintendo Rewards closed down, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, that's the very first time I ever owned the game. Other than that, the only other copy that I like legit own, well, it wouldn't really be a copy. It's part of that PlayStation Classic. And I was surprised I even got that thing for $30, but then again, nobody wants that piece of crap. But yeah, I tried playing it on that thing. That thing runs like shit on that because it's like I think it's like the PAL version, and it runs like at 50 hertz, whereas like the other ones, like the NTSC, like run at like 60 hertz. Whereas me back then, I would see those little things. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna play the game, and that's it. But yeah, so that was the very first time I owned Resident Evil One, like legitimately. That was pretty much of the DS version. On that, the only thing I have, even though it's not really related, and I kind of bitched about it, was the Resident Evil One remake, and that one I got for the Xbox One. I beat it like once or twice, and on that I've never really gone back to it. Again, it's just not my style. I don't like it. It's whatever. But yeah, I mean, Resident Evil One is definitely something that I would say is pretty damn important. It's pretty much my first intro into the series. I'm assuming it's the same thing for a lot of people. I absolutely love that game. I love Chris. I love Jill, Barry, Wesker, Rebecca. I mean, they're all good characters, man. Like, wow, like this is an amazing game. Like, and just for some reason, when it comes to Resident Evil games, I think the reason why I love them all so much is mostly because a lot of them have a lot of replay value. Like even right now, I'm playing Resident Evil 4 remake. Despite the fact I still prefer the original, that game still has a shitload of replayability, and that's something I can really appreciate. Now I'm kind of going on a side rant right here, but the one thing I do want to talk about, because now that I've gotten older, like back then for me, what I thought was considered a good purchase was if I enjoyed the game and how many hours did I get out of it. So I mean, even today I still like a lot of JRPGs and RPGs in general, but a lot of them, man, they consume a lot of time. Now I just want a game that even if it's like 10, 20 hours, as long as I enjoyed it, I think it's worth it. And because most time nowadays I'll kind of wait for a game to go on sale, or if I know I'm gonna really really like it, like Fire Emblem, kind of just contradicting my current point. But I mean, then again, Fire Emblem is like my most favorite gaming franchise, so yeah, of course I'm gonna fucking buy every game that comes out brand new. Like I don't give a shit, I'll pay full price for it. But getting back to the topic at hand, like I don't know, just nowadays games just feel way too long and grindy. But Resident Evil has always kept it to where it's not too grindy. Now there are some that can be grindy depending on what you're playing. Like for example, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Those can be grindy in the terms of raid mode. Other than that, I mean, Resident Evil is pretty. It's pretty straightforward. You know what you're getting into. Although, from what I understand, the lore has completely gotten shitting on after the events of like Resident Evil 8. But I have no intention of playing 8 because I fucking hate 7. So fuck those games. But yeah, that's like I said. That's my little side rant. Sorry about that. But like I said, I mean, Resident Evil. I love Resident Evil, man. Like it's if anything, I would say it's probably like my number 2 favorite gaming franchise of all time. Although it's really competing with a spot for Gears of War, but I think at this point it's probably Resident Evil 2, like for sure. Just because I'm kind of having some downers with Gears of War at the moment. But other than that, yeah. So that was my own little video about Resident Evil 1. I just wanted to talk about the very first time I played it and the very first time I owned a copy. So yeah, that was pretty much the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Night.